Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Last of Us Reviews, Episode 5, Season 2. I'm going to fucking kill you, Tress, now, and I'm joined by...
Where is she? Kirkland Panzer.
At least seen a couple of movies. I guess you didn't get to see Dexter Season 2, but... or Original Sin, but yeah, here we are, myself and Mr. Patzer again. You know, Dylan's not cut up. Taylor's who knows where. He's eating dog shit, man. Taylor, I love. And Emily's just
For
like
context.
yeah, I'm gonna tell. But Emily's always like, man, you're always so mean to him. Well, you know, one, he's tagged me multiple times, so he deserves it. But like, I just feel like the things Taylor could flex about in his life, he rarely does, and the things he has to, because he's been talking about Tiger ice cream, right? I think it's just Tiger.
It's a
whatever
big
it
no,
is.
big no for me.
Yeah. I'm with Kirkland. Black licorice, like.
Ugh.
I'll lick 1,000 assholes before I gotta eat black licorice, you know,
Right
like,
there
and
with
that's after work assholes too. Black licorice, no. So like, he sends this, and he's like, it's an ice cream cone. And he's like, oh, Mother's Day, Tiger Crab, which I don't even know why I don't understand if it's Father's Day, but he's like, why are you eating the ice cream? Like, why is he like, look at Mother's Day, I'm fucking eating good, but whatever. So he's doing, you know, with Madison and his family and everything like that. But he sends a photo of this ice cream. Like, I guess it did look like regular ice cream. It was a tiger and then a brown on top, and it was like melted and licked and everything. But just the way it looked like a dog shit. And then when I said that, he just got defense by like, oh, well, you know, Moolix isn't the best service, and I licked it already. You know, it's like, well, I understand you licked it. It's just like the way it was looking. What, like, he sent it in a way it felt like, oh, look what I got, guys. And it's like, no, like you unsold me again on this, you know.
Especially that we already established that we both don't like Tiger. He's trying to
Yeah.
sell us on this Tiger ice cream, and it's not even a nice photo of Tiger ice cream. Like, there's
No.
better photos where I could be like, yeah, it looks good. I'm sure it tastes like
Fuck it.
you said after work 1,000.
I'm gonna
assholes,
tweet. I'm
but,
gonna tweet this when I've shared the link for this episode, and I'm gonna show everybody right now.
And we
So
give
if
him a
you
hard
want-
time because he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah,
you know?
he's missing the cast. You know, look at that. That's not good.
Yeah. Like, come on now. That's like some cheese that's been left out at
Yeah.
room temperature.
This
The
photo
best part
looks
about that is the cone.
100%. This photo looks something like when you go to the doctor and it's like, hey doc, I need you to see something, and you unzip your pants, and this is what it's looking like right now. This is
I took
looking
this
like,
photo earlier. Can you
yeah,
take a
this is some alien hybrid in the next Alien movie. Like, and oh, look at this, guys, and yeah, then he went into the defense, but that's okay. But yeah, we are here to talk about
Happy
Last of Us,
Mother's
not
Day
ice
to all the
cream.
mothers
Happy
out
Mother's
there.
Day to all the mothers, wherever you are, and happy to all the people who love Tiger ice cream. But yeah, we're here. So next couple weeks. Hopefully Taylor will be back next week, because I think next week I got a gimmick recording. So I think next week I'll be Mission that one. But then we got
I'm
the
just
finale,
the one
right?
constant on these Last of Us.
You are.
reviews.
That's funny enough how it's happened. Yeah. So it's great. But yeah, and Dylan should be. He's got to catch up. But if not, there's always something waiting for you, just like the GeekVerse podcast feed. Tons of stuff, newscasts. We're Andor's coming to an end this week, so you got that. Believe it or not, Ironheart is coming up. It's
Not this week.
No,
Okay,
but still,
you
it's
scared me
coming
for a
up.
second.
No, there's some stat. It was last week. It's like it's the shortest project from the MCU coming out to no trailer happening. So it's like we don't know what the fuck this show is. And then May,
Not a
and
good sign.
not a good sign, no. But May, we got lots of stuff. We got Mission Impossible coming out, which you can go check out on the Patreon feeds right now. The exclusive Phase 2 tier and up. We got Mission Impossible retrospectives. We got Superman retrospectives and Fantastic Four retrospectives, where we review the entire series of those movies. And yeah, check those out, because those three franchises obviously are returning in the next couple weeks here. So good time. Weekly Geek is happening this week by myself and Kirkland. We already got some good stuff. I got some Spider-Man rumors for you, and we got Peacemaker, and I don't know, there was rumors there's a Superman trailer. There's not. Who knows? Lots of good stuff, so we'll see. But go to Patreon. That is the best way to support us and listen to podcasts, because you get all episodes ad-free. You get exclusive episodes. You can call in after 9. A big shout out to the Patreon producers: Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, and Charlie Randell. So we appreciate all your support. Kirkland, did you appreciate this episode? Obviously, last week was tense, lots of Biden going on, and I'm not talking about the clickers. No, I'm just joking.
Ayo.
But, you got Ellie and Dina, you know, admitting their love to each other, getting it on. You got lots of clickers going on. They got to Seattle. So what did you think about this follow-up, as this is the third last episode of the season? We're rounding down to home, you know?
It's coming too quick. I still really appreciated this episode. I think this was the first episode in the string of episodes where it felt like a little bit of switching gears to a slower momentum. Not that like the pacing of the episode was slow in comparison to even last week's, but I just feel like my overall like holy shit, it's getting crazy here. Like it just felt like we kind of took a breath, even though there was a lot of good suspenseful moments in here. I think it ended really, really strong. But it really wasn't until like the last, yeah, like the last section of the episode where I really felt like I was, rubbing the old palms together and like, all right, let's fucking go here. This is getting me going. And yeah, I think the reason for that is everything in here. I don't know. This in my mind. This sounds weird because it just feels like adding on to last week's episode, which I guess every week kind of does that to an extent in a season. It's all one story that it's telling, but this one it just really didn't feel like we moved a lot of places. It just felt like a little add-on to the adventure from last week, and that's not a negative by any means. It was an overall shift in my just feeling, but while watching this, it felt like I didn't get a lot out of this week until kind of like the last section. But I don't know. Overall, it's still really, really good quality. I'm I'm looking forward to next week's episode, but I'm kind of mixed on the feeling of it. I think I can talk about that when we get into spoilers, just because it really shows like, hey, this is next week, and it's like, okay, like I kind of am looking forward to that, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I don't know. I'm also would have been a little bit giddier to maybe go in a different direction, but it is necessary. I think the stuff that we are going to be covering. I think part of me maybe wish that we got that this week, just because I've kind of been looking forward to it. But yeah, no, it's still really good. Bella Ramsey's fantastic. Isabella, it's Isabella, right? Not Isabel. Isabella Merced. Dina, she was fantastic.
It is Isabella Merced. Yeah, I think I've been saying Isabel, so that's my bad too. So
yeah. Cass is just great, and yeah, just some good tense moments. I feel like this episode was the first episode, maybe this season, where I'm like, oh man, this scene's just too dark for me. I don't know, like there's a lot of darkness in the show, but like there's just a string of stuff going on where I was like, like maybe it was just bright out, I should have closed the blinds, really got that glare out of the screen, but it reminded me of some like a House of Dragons episode. I think it was from season 1 where it was just like, fuck man, this is way too dark. I can't see anything that's going on.
Which is obviously it's different because of the video game, but man, there's so much stuff that it's just so much brighter, and obviously because the video game, you literally change any lighting, right? Like there's no like on set, you got to make this done. But I think I agree with you. I think overall I really liked the episode. I think, I'm excited to talk about some of the changes because I'm with Mike. We were talking about the Discord and other people where there's some changes that they've made from the game where I just feel like it's just changes for the sake of changes. And then there's one change in here that I enjoyed and I understood, but there's some stuff that's it's odd. I'm excited that when we I think they do those sit downs and whatnot, but I feel like I want to hear more from the game creators of maybe they don't have a choice, but just certain things why they're changed. But I digress. But yeah, no, this is a great episode. I think there was lots of I think it's kind of divided in half. I think the first half is very much an exposition character development, but more in a character development of like, I'm going to tell you a story. We're going to talk about this. Not so much as seeing stuff, but then the second half, lots more action, lots more reveals, and lots more situations, and some things that have been fans been waiting for because it's stuff that happened in the first game that they didn't even cover in the first season. So it's been interesting. But they continue to both be great. It was interesting. I'll wait for spoilers on that one because they just made a choice. I'll just say they gave. It's difficult. They gave Dina more screen time. There's a certain section in the game that she does not join Ellie on. It's just an Ellie-centric mission, but she joined here. And I think it's a good thing because you get more chemistry with them and you hear more story. But there were times, because I've heard people talk about this, and I don't necessarily agree, so maybe it's just someone supplanting the idea in my mind. But this episode felt like this, where it felt like for the first half, Ellie was not the main character of this show. And that's happened a few times where I've seen people show examples of, Dina is like taking over quite a bit, but I wonder if that's because of something that happened in this episode that might, don't worry, it's not Joel level, but just something that might make that character busy for a little bit. I'm not sure. I really don't know. But I digress. I thought it was a good episode. Maybe not as strong as last week, but I'm very, yeah, again, we'll wait to spoilers. I can't say I'm very excited for next week. I'm sure, like Kirkman said, it'll serve its purpose. I think it's just I guess I could be more excited if I knew when Last of Us 3 was, where something's going to happen next week and then we get the finale and then it's like, man, are we gone for another 2 to 3 years? You know, that's the issue, especially
Yeah.
with this one. We know it's not going to be like you could watch season 1 and be done with it, right? There's stuff like left hanging, but you could be done and end the story there, hence the game ending there, right? But we're not doing that with season 2. We're going to leave. I don't even know if it's going to be on a cliffhanger, but we know that this is not like at least 2 seasons. They've said maybe 3 years coming the second game. So we know that next week you're going to end in some sort of, you know, I won't say unsatisfied way, because you can still have a cliffhanger and do all that. Like, just because you don't completely answer everything doesn't mean you're not satisfied, but just in a way where you're going to be wanting left more. But I wonder if it's like, if it's in the way of like, let's say you have a good meal and you're like, fuck, I'd have that again, versus let's say you had a good half meal, you're like, oh, that's good, but I'm still kind of hungry. That's my only worry about next week and the week after, because next week I think they're gonna flesh out some stories that aren't in the game. So that's where it's like, okay, I think that'll give us some great character stuff, but I don't know how vital it's going to be going towards, you know, because even the Bob episode, right? Like, I think there's some themes that were, you know, great that they touched upon, but technically you could take out that episode and that doesn't change anything for Joel and Ellie, right? Was it Bob from season 1?
Oh, Bill.
Oh, Bill. Thank you.
Bill and Frank.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Bill and Frank. Great episode, set up the world, heavy on the themes, but you could technically take that episode out and it doesn't change anything for Joel and Ellie, right? And I'm not saying don't take that episode out. That episode's a great oneer, but also I think that came at a, like you're saying, the placing a better time. I don't know if, you know, I don't care. It's my sports. Next week's a flashback episode. We'll just say that. And that's where it's just like, as the penultimate episode, that's an interesting place to put it. So I hope they kind of justify it. And that's just my worry of, you get that and then finale. And I just feel like I don't want to feel, not in the sense of, oh, I'm one more so excited. Like, oh yeah, like I'm a little underbaked. Like I needed a bit more before we said goodbye to these characters for another 2 years and then we're back. But maybe not. Maybe that season's going to be closer to, I don't know. I haven't heard much scheduling. Maybe I'll look while we're talking. But yeah, anything else? Non-spoilers?
No, I don't think
Nope.
so.
All right, so we're going to take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back diving into the nitty-gritty. And we are back. All right, so you want to just start there, because I kind of talked about it a little bit, but yeah, thoughts on next week being a looks like a flashback episode, because like we know Joel's not fucking alive. You know, if you're for some reason listening, you know, to the spoilers, they haven't seen the episode, they don't care. What happens is we're gonna get to it. Something bad's going on with Ellie. Cuts to black, and then there's a knock at the door, or a door. Door opens. It's Ellie sleeping, and it's Joel being like, "Hey, kiddo," and she's all happy. So it's obviously gonna be going back to a time where things were much better for the two. So,
And it is so bright in there. It reminds me of like when Frodo wakes up and like sees, you know, Sam, Gandalf, he's in
that
Rivendell.
elf he can't remember. Yeah. Well, that
you.
Again, watch Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. He says everyone's name. He does not fucking say Legolas' name. He has no idea who that man is. No idea. He never talked to him once. I haven't read the book in a long, because I got the audiobook. Do you recall Frodo and Legolas ever actually talked to each other?
I can't remember for like 100%, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't. So I feel like that's on par.
It's something like Thor and Black Widow. I'm pretty sure people have shown in the Infinity Saga. They never once talked to each other like one-on-one. Everybody else does, but not them. So, you know, we all got those colleagues at work. But I was gonna say, before you go, that scene that you were saying was too dark. They took all the brightness from that scene and put it into the end scene.
That's where it all went. It all makes sense now. Yeah, I mean, I kind of was alluding to it in the spoiler-free spot. It's just, especially to have this week like end, I feel like the last section of the episode was really tense, which is like the Ellie and Nora situation, and then it just, yeah, like you said, it goes fades to black. And then instead of continuing on from that, I know for a fact all my waiting for next Sunday is just going to lead up to this flashback episode, where I'm kind of torn, because I've been wanting this all season. Like, that was something that I was, like, I mean, I'm obviously sad Joel died, but I was also just upset because I just don't have Pedro for like any of this season, really. Like, he's really not a part of this season beyond that first episode. Like he's in episode 2, but even for the most part, he's just standing there. He's just a victim.
And it's weird
Um,
because in the game it feels a lot more, and I can't remember because the game's obviously like 40 to 60 hours, right? So it's all
yeah,
kind of splattered in my mind. But they do like multiple flashbacks in the game, so I kind of thought they were gonna go that route in the show of like
sprinkle him in
a
there.
scene here, a scene there, and
Yeah.
maybe that's better. Maybe for the show they're like, oh, we want to do like a full hour of it, but it has at the same point, I guess they want you to feel like you're actually missing him, right? So in a game I can go stretch of 8 hours and not see Joel. Where this, it's like 40 minutes, 50 minutes. So maybe that's the
Yeah.
idea. But I thought even just for the show's benefit to keep people engaged, they might have Pedro around more. But no.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I'll have to judge it for next week, or sorry, after next week, but I feel like I personally would have maybe liked it more getting sprinkled in throughout, because I watched the first, I don't know, 3 episodes and then rewatched them with Shay because she wasn't caught up then. And I had watched like a recap of season 1 because I was just like fuzzy on it up until that point. So I felt like those heavy sequences when we lose Joel, it hit me so much harder. And then like the next episode when Ellie is like seeing his clothing, like just because he was so recently in my mind, like those scenes were just hitting so much harder. And I feel like we just, I don't know, looking back on the last few weeks, I feel like there's many moments you could easily splice in. Like, how this episode kind of ended, just like a quick little kiddo thing, just like her looking in a direction and then just picturing Joel there. And then it just reminds us all that we just got, Joel got taken from us way too early, and we fucking hate Abby.
Yeah.
Just a little reminder of that. So yeah, I think I can safely say I would prefer that there, but maybe I'll wait and see till next week. Maybe next week's a 10 out of 10 episode, and it's like, man, I was so wrong. What they did here is perfect, but I
It
don't know.
could be, right? Because the Bill and Frank one was like that, where
Yep.
it's just a great episode. So it could be, and then we know it sounds like we're gonna have more like Catherine O'Hara, so that'll always be good. So
Eugene, I'm sure too. That guy
yeah,
will never fucking leave us.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure we will. So let's see. Super Mike says almost sure the reason it's one flashback episode is because they pay Pedro per episode.
Mm.
I guess that's so interesting, right? I guess, and Mike, you're probably right as far as I wonder why it can't work to be like we're gonna, because couldn't you just still like let's say you film, let's say next week he's on screen for 57 minutes, like it's so interesting that you would film 57 minutes and pay him in a bulk, like pay a one-time amount, but if you were to spread that throughout episodes you couldn't still do that one-time amount.
Yeah.
But I think Mike might be right, because I remember, I don't know if you recall this, but back in the day when the Snyder Cut was first coming out, do you remember they originally, it was a 6-episode series and then they just changed it to dropping a whole movie? Do you remember that?
I'm a little fuzzy on that, but
When it was
yeah.
first announced, Snyder said they were going to do it as a series on HBO Max and it was going to be weekly. But then the rumor was, and at least I've talked to some people that have confirmed that for me, that because of certain contracts and episodes and whatnot, that's why they didn't do it, because having to pay people. So I guess that's it too, because you could make the argument of, okay, sure, it's the same amount of time, but every week you're using my face to keep people there, pull them in. So yeah, no, that's a good point, Mike, of why I guess it doesn't work. Again, we talk about lighting, same thing in video game stuff. Like, what's the name? Troy Baker just comes and records his line. They just spread that throughout the game, right? He's gonna be like, "Well, you pay me per scene here, Neil Druckmann." It's like, so yeah, no, that's a good point. So, in that case, then they should pay him a little more. Get him a little bit. But again, busy guy, right? Mando, F4, Materialist. He's always in a bunch of stuff. This guy is working hard. So, but yeah, I'll be excited to see him back, because I think we might get him back one more time next year. Again, there's still a scene I'm waiting to happen, which they've not confirmed if it's changed from the game or they're just holding it. But the thing is, for me, it's just like if they're holding it, again, it's like that's a long hold, because it's gonna be a few years. It's just gonna feel like, all right, that happened, but maybe it'll pay off. But yeah, no, maybe we'll just do something weird. We're gonna just keep at the back and keep working our way forward. So in this, we had Ellie, we'll get to there in a second. Maybe, okay, no, we'll jump to the warehouse, because that's where we'll go there, because it's kind of events. It's gonna feel weird if I don't talk about Jesse in a Tarantino fashion. So they make this plan. Go, okay, there's the situation, which it's like a no duh. They even know that the characters, right? But they're like, wolves are camped over here. Nothing in the warehouse. There's gotta be something in here, right? In the game, it's one. That's what I was gonna say to you. Ellie's just alone. Dina stays back because she's like feeling too preggo to go. And then in the game, it's actually just wolves. Like, it's just like more soldiers. But then in this, it's like the smart clickers or the stalkers. They put them in there, which to me, both, obviously we'll get to it, both things make sense as far as Dina going, I feel like you just get more screen time with them together. You add on the chemistry. I like the two characters, so that makes sense of her just like, I'm gonna stay back here. And I feel like now them shooting her the arrow was them doing that of like, she can no longer go, like that was them doing that. So it's like, okay. But and this I make sense from like a cinematic point of view. If you're like playing against like playing against wolves and stalkers are very different in the games, but I just feel like if you're making a show for people, this is a show that already I don't think has like doesn't have like a lot of clickers or zombies, right? Like has an amount, but there's many episodes where they're in there for a little bit or they go missing. So I thought it was probably a better choice to make it a bunch of, infected people than just like a couple, a few soldiers. Same thing plays out. Jesse comes and saves her, but so that's the change there. That instead of soldiers, it's
Okay.
stalkers. And I thought that was good, and because it was a good reveal of there's one, and then even when you see two, you're like, okay, that changes the situation. Because I think Ellie makes a terrible plan where she's like, well, let's split up. Again,
Fuck.
every horror movie's taught you. And then the idea is, well, we're gonna wait for one to rush you, and then we'll like ransack the other one. But it's like these things are fat. Like, what do you mean wait for the other one to rush you? Like, I feel like there's so many like issues with that plan. I would have just been like, yeah, we stand side by side, or just use Ellie as a fucking shield and figure it out. Like, if you can't get, she's even like, oh, I can get bit a lot of times. Like, okay, then stand in front of me. I have a knife. Let's go. But then, great reveal. They see a second. You're like, okay, that changed plan. But then there's like at least a dozen of them in there, and then you know why they don't go in there. So I thought overall was a good scene pacing and reveal wise.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like the reveal of like multiple. It was good tension build up of even just the one, because like yeah, if like Belly get if Belly if Ellie gets bit, then we're
Bob.
fine. Yeah, but like if Dina gets bit, then like that's a huge factor. So I thought even having just the one stalker there was good tension, and then yeah, it obviously spiraled into an uncontrollable situation. And yeah, like when Ellie's like, "Oh, I can get bit so many times." It's just like that is such a horrible plan. Like, what if they just bite you right in the fucking jugular or something? Like you can
I
still
know. It's like
die
you
by
still
these
die by
bites.
blood loss.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or like just infection overall. Like it seems even if you don't get infected for a zombie, like your wound could just get infected. It just seems so. Uh, Something that did not make sense. So you confirming that it was a different threat in that sequence makes a lot more sense to me because it just seems so ridiculous, like the
Yeah.
initial plan. I was really surprised when Jesse showed up though. That was like I don't know, just the idea of I don't know, like in hindsight it makes sense that him and Tommy would have went and chased after these two, but in the moment that was like the last person I would have expected. I thought it was just gonna be I don't even know, like a wolf member or something, like someone that we've already seen before. Fucking Abby, who knows? So I was pretty shocked for that reveal.
Which again, I don't understand. Jesse's there, saves them, and they're like, "You're here alone." And I'm with Tommy. So I don't really understand why they changed it from the game where Tommy went after the wolves and then they linked up with Tommy later on. I don't know if it's just because I guess they did those town scenes where they did the vote and all that stuff, and maybe they wanted Tommy there, but it just felt again, I don't know why they changed it. The end result's the same as far as in the game. Tommy goes first, they follow his tracks. This one, Ellie and Dina go first. Tommy comes and they meet up at the theater. So it just feels odd. Again, that's where it's stuff. It's not that it's like a negative. I would just like to know, like, hey, why was this change made? Because you have the actor. He was in more, like, in the game, he's in less. The thing happens to Joel, and he's like, fuck, I'm going after these people, and he's gone. In this, he was in more. He's in the town, he's talking with Ellie, so maybe they just won that scene, but it's like him and Ellie still have, like, in the games when they meet up, they still have those scenes where they talk about Joel, so very curious why some of these changes were made. But yeah, because at first I thought, okay, is Jesse there alone? That's still changed where Tommy's back at town, whatever. But no, it sounds like he's still there, so couldn't tell you. Don't know. So
Yeah, it also makes me think that we're really not gonna be checking in with the town. Probably not at
No.
all this whole season.
Well, I guess next week though, right? Because that's a flashback, so you're not checking into the town, but
yeah,
that
true.
could be a
Like
town
modern
episode.
times, I guess.
Yeah,
Current chronological order.
yeah. Let's see here. So they which I really like. They're running, the wolves see them whatnot, and they see this gate, which of course just is like, get through there, we'll get lost. And then the soldiers like, oh, they're not, they're not gonna come back if they do shoot them, because it's like, yeah, well, like obviously you gotta run, but you think there's just gonna be open gate to these fucking creepy ass woods, and Jesse's like, we can hide from them in there. Not gonna happen. We get some more Scars action going on where they've kidnapped and the guy, which is dude, it's like, so are you the wolf? Like, I can't remember how it works in the game. Obviously, you don't just want to go into wolves or Scars territory when it's at night, but at the same time, it's like if I'm here and let's say we have a GeekVerse clan, right? And I'm like that fence
Don't
is
like the sound of that.
a GeekVerse crew, I'll say. And like let's say that fence is, I don't know, because they have all these posts, right? There's guys in watchtowers that run around, they got lights and everything. I don't know, maybe it's, I'll say to be generous, 50 feet away. And let's just say, oh, yeah, I haven't seen Dylan in a couple hours. And then the woods, I hear, no, don't, I'll tell you everything. Like, I thought the woods was comically close that you could just
It
hear
felt
your
like
friend.
like a park, that like, and everyone's just like around it. I completely agree with you.
Like, it felt like, can you not just run in there and be like, like, again, it's nighttime. They might have traps, bone arrows, sure. But Isaac last episode was like, at the end of the day, you guys are gonna lose. We have hospitals, we have we have technology, we have weapons. We're gonna kill you. And then the guy's just like, well, we have her, right? Why are you not just like, okay, everyone just fucking load up. We're gonna, especially maybe they don't like this guy, but it's like some guy's being tortured in there, and if not, it's like they're so close. Like it feels like a top secret gag. Like they're so close. It's like why not one night everyone just get together? Like let's fucking just eradicate this group now. It'd be different if it just felt like when Ellie and company got in there, they like turn to their right and then torture scenes going on. It's not like they're walking for miles, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it's even been a day and it's like, oh fuck, they're deep in the woods. It's like, no, you're like a hop, skip, and a jump to like Andy being tortured, and no one gives a fuck at wolves. They're hanging out, they're playing tic tac toe, whatever they're doing, but they ain't saving their boy. So I kind of laughed, and then I also laughed. I felt like they shot something and lost the footage, or I don't know what happened, but when Dina got shot, she had like zero reaction in the game. To clarify for people, she got shot with a bow and arrow. To clarify, in the game, Ellie at this point is alone and she climbs up and then she gets shot in the shoulder and she falls down. She takes it out, and that's the game's way of being like, if you get shot by an arrow, like it's in game, it explains what happens. Which I'll be curious next week, because when Ellie goes back to the theater in the game, she's all fucked up and Dina's like cleaning her wounds and everything. But it's like Dina just got shot with an arrow, and it's like a really sensual scene. So, or I guess 2 weeks from now. So like, I don't think you're gonna have Jesse. Minor spoilers for the game, Kirkland. She like gets back, she takes off all her clothes because she's just dirty and bruised, and it's a scene of Dina like bathing her, right? Dina got shot in the leg. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think it's the same impact of Jesse's doing that. So I'm like, and Ellie's not even that fucked up in this scene, like in at the end, right? She looks fine. But yeah, in this, it was just like arrow shot, and they look down, and Dina's like, and they see Aaron's like, oh, like it felt a little like comedic, like parody. Like it felt like I've never been shot with arrows, so maybe it just feels like a Brock, but it felt like she took it like a fucking champ. She's like a Terminator. She didn't even react, and then after like falls down, they gotta carry her. But yeah, so I don't think that sequence was the cleanest, I'll say, for a multitude of reasons for myself.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It felt like because they were so close to everything that was going on, like them being the scars and just that whole situation, it just seemed so random. It seemed like, okay, our threat is the wolves and infected here, so let's just leave it at that. Like, why do we have to have this sequence where we just see them disembowel this guy, like gut him like a fish? It was definitely like a gruesome sequence, but in my mind it just seemed like, okay, this is a really gross shot. Let's throw this in here.
Yeah. And we know they're doing that. It's not a big reveal. It's like, oh,
yeah.
It's not like this was a reveal like, oh, the scars are doing it. It's like, no, we've had like 2 episodes be like, yeah, they fucking disembowel people, you know?
Yeah, so like as someone that hasn't played the game, like this makes no sense to have the scars here. Like let's just have the wolves rush them into this wooded area, and then they're just trying to find them. And like that's really intense. Like they have dogs, like that's a big threat. But it sounds like that kind of is what happens in the game to an extent, of just they come across the scars in this little wooded area.
I feel like it's a longer sequence, but yeah, I'd have to recall about the and I don't even know if that torture scene's there, but I just know that Elliot shot with the arrow, because I think it might just be a scene where she runs in there and has to get away. But yeah, it felt a little odd there. But yeah, she gets shot. Take her back to the theater, and then Ellie decides not to go. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week or 2 weeks from now, because you're gonna have Jesse find out about the pregnancy. You're gonna have and I wonder if they're trying to change that up too, which I don't understand why they would, because Dina obviously eventually just does not continue on with the adventure because she is pregnant. We already seen the effects that like she's getting sick a lot more, she's getting more fatigued. So I just wonder in the show if they're just like, well, we don't want Dina to be like a fucking pussy, so we're gonna shoot her in the leg with an arrow. It's like I think it's a believable. Most people when they get pregnant, it's believable. In modern day regular stuff, they're too tired to do things. So in this one, they are hunting, fighting stalkers, clickers, wolves. Like I don't think it reads as like, man, weak female Dina couldn't do the adventure. Hey, like I'm just wondering why they had her be shot, and I feel like that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like, well, Jessica be like, well, she's pregnant, she's shot, she can't go on with you in the venture. But it's like, I don't know. So again, some things I would just love to be like, why is this change? Like her being pregnant is a good enough reason for her to maybe sit a couple missions out, you know. But I don't know. So
Yeah. Do you think we'll get that next week? If next week's just a flashback?
no, I keep saying next week, but
Yeah.
I mean in 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks we're gonna get that. I know exactly where we're ending now. I'm pretty sure I thought that's where we were going to end, but yeah, I don't want to say more, but we just did a few things a different way, but it's exactly where I thought we were going to end. And that makes me very curious for what they're going to do for season 3, but they've already changed some stuff up with the story and Abby that I don't know if they're going to do it. And again, people just fucking hate Abby, so I don't know what they're gonna I don't know what they're gonna do there. So
Yeah, I was gonna pose a question to you, but that's probably a bad idea since you kind of know somewhat.
still pose it,
events
see if
that are
I
happening.
can see if I can walk around it.
Well, I was gonna ask myself, I guess, who's gonna run into Tommy first? I kind of think that Tommy's gonna find Ellie. Like he'll kind of be the one to.
Well, I
help
guess
her
I don't
out.
know though, right? Because they changed it from the game. So in the
Yeah,
game,
true,
I think
actually.
he's just like I think he just
He
like
goes with
shows
Ellie?
up at the
Is that what you
theater.
said initially?
No, in the first game, or not in the first game, in the game, he's just gone. Like he wakes up and then because remember, there's not a 3-month jump in the game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think there's 3-month jump. So
Oh,
what
he
happens
goes
is
after the Killers of Joel.
and then
or
what
whatever.
happens is instead of, which again, I don't know why they changed, instead of in this show, it's Ellie and Dina tracking the wolves down, doing the map. It's them following Tommy's footsteps of he's been here, he's left this, yada, yada, yada. So that's why I don't actually even know the answer to that question. I think he's just going to show up in the theater. I think that's what happens in the game. He just shows up in the theater and finds out they're there or something like that. But yeah, in the game, I don't think it's like they bump into him. If I recall, I know he ends up back at the theater, which is not a big spoiler because like, what the fuck's his name? Jesse said, "Hey, we're gonna go back to the theater," and Tommy's there, right, or whatever. So it's not like a big thing. So yeah, I think he just kind of finds him, and that's that. So I don't know what they're gonna happen. So
Interesting.
yeah, and I was just trying to find something else, but take us in a direction here.
I mean, to just sandwich the scenes that we talked about since we're at the end here. The part of the episode that I was really like, this is where I was, getting all scoochy on my couch and rubbing my palms together, was when really starting to see this like dark side of Ellie. Like when she corners Nora,
She turned into this guy. She did, and this guy when she was running down the elevator. This
Honey?
Agassi, who is the head.
I'm gonna fucking kill you!
Oh man,
She literally said that, but just added Nora at the end of it. She's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." Nora is like, "Oh, she's enacting her inner Patrick Dempsey right now."
when Nora realized that like she's breathing in spores, she's completely cornered, and then this lady that's walking up to her not only is like after you for brutally killing Joel, this father-like figure to her, she can breathe the spores and is immune, and it's just like, oh, I'm so fucked. Like she could torture me for hours in here, and no one can come save me because nobody can come down here. Like, yeah, that was. I kind of assumed we were gonna go this route of like Ellie just getting like really gearing into her anger more so than just what like a moody teen would be. So yeah, I was I was pretty pumped, I think, in this sequence of just seeing the dark side of Ellie here. And I mean, if she's doing this to Nora, I can only imagine what she would want to do if she can eventually get to Abby. So yeah, no, really, really brutal. Also, I felt like in the sequence, like from episode 2, I really felt like everyone around Abby like thought Abby was going like way too far, but like in this moment it's like, oh no, they truly fucking hate Joel. Like they truly see him being like this just mass murderer. I mean, he is, but like I just thought that maybe there'd be a lot more like sympathy for like, yeah, no, I mean, I guess she kind of says that like, we didn't want you to see that, nobody should be able to see that, but at the same time it's like,
call him a little bitch.
yeah, that's true. The little bitch deserved what he got. Like that was like, okay, no, like she's gonna die feeling that way. And Yeah, she got some busted kneecaps with that steel pipe. As she's just like having an asthma attack, she's breathing in these spores.
Yeah, this was something that I enjoy. It's so funny because I thought, well, no, I guess I'll take that back because I guess kind of like this other game that maybe this character will come back in flashbacks and everything because she's like not like a big actress, but she's like a bigger actress. Maybe we talked about her in a few things like Uncharted and You, like Tatia Gabrielle, like, and I like her a
Oh, yeah.
lot. So like I thought she was good here. So I'm sure we could see her again in the future. But yeah, so that is almost identical where it's like okay. It's like a longer sequence, but the like, oh, you know, he died like a little bitch or whatever it says. Because yeah, I think that's a good point of it's a tough situation because you want the person dead, and maybe you're not completely down for the torture, or maybe it's just something that you have to do to send a message, or maybe they do think Abby went too far, but they probably still think like, yeah, fuck this guy though, because he killed a lot of people. I think this is one scene again where this is where I will, no matter what people like, it's tough for me. I have to dock at points. The game in the scene is much, or the scene in the game is much better because for most of the scene was her telling Ellie like, hey, he killed a bunch of people in the hospital, someone that could do a cure. That's Abby's dad. So two things. One, that doesn't happen in the game because at this point you don't know that. They're revealing that. They're saving that from, because I watched back just to be sure. The only line Nora says is he killed a lot of people, which is like, well, that could be Joel at any point, right? Like it doesn't matter what it's for, right? And it's more stuff of, she says like, oh, well, I'm already infected with spores. I'm not going to do anything. And Ellie leans down and she already has the pole and says, I can make it, like she goes, why would he tell me, why would I tell you anything? And Ellie goes, I can make it quick or I can make it long. And that's the thing where the whole scene though for me was just, it's just like, I don't know what they're doing because they don't, everyone knows this. Ellie already knows what happened here. She's already figured it out. Like they came back and killed Joel, right? And the show revealed this to us in the first scene of the series was fucking Abby by all these graves. So I don't know why they keep trying to like, they're just obsessed with like, hey, it's like people will forget why they killed off Pedro Pascal. Like, oh, he's a bad guy and he killed some people and Abby's dad. It's like, you already told people that. I think people understand. It's not been that many weeks, but so I was this point where in this, and it's about, I'd say a similar length, but in the scene, even just that I thought in the video game, Ellie's more threatening just by saying like, hey, like I can just kill you just right now, end it, or I'm going to fucking torture you. But all of Nora's dialogue is replaced with just telling Abby's motivations again, which is odd because I feel like at some point, whether Abby tells us or there's flashbacks, we're going to get this again through Abby. So I just don't know why. And this is where something that for me, it just completely, it's only a video game thing where that's where it would dock me points because I've just seen like a better version. I still like that. And even then with the scene of like they showed us with Abby telling, the grave, we know that you don't need her to say this stuff again. They even showed a flashback, right? They just showed a flashback of young Abby walking around, finding her dad. Like, I would just rather them have more of the dialogue from the game where it's just showing Ellie's more vicious. And that's where I think they did that well. I think Bella did that well. And I think it's great. I'd still curious to see what the general reaction is because I still don't know if they've done a good enough job making it feel that these people you're rooting against Ellie. Because the thing that I think works in the game, which you can't do in a show, is when you strike Nora, you're the one hitting the square button. You're the one having to do that. Oh, there you go. Thumbs up for killing Nora. But like, so that's where it feels bad, where it's like, oh, I'm watching this cutscene and who knows why I'm doing this. But when you're actively doing the like hits, you're like, this is fucked up.
Like the torture scene in GTA, like that one mission where you just feel unsettled, even though you're like, it's a video game, but yeah.
Where you can't do that in a show, so I get that, but that's where I think that's some of the dialogue I wish they would have just made Ellie a bit more threatening of like, okay, we can't have the viewers physically make Ellie do this, but let's make her a little more. I like Bella as far as I think the difference between Ellie in the game and Bella in the show, I think I've finally figured out, is Ellie in the game feels like a ferocious animal, where in the show, she kind of feels like a little bit of a psychopath. She has like a little Dexter Bryan thing going on because to me that look, and I think it was on purpose, Bella's look when Nora's talking, she just looks fucking deadpan. Like she looks like she has zero emotion, where Ellie in the game is very like just fucking a rat, like a bull in a china shop, like ready to go. And like, I'm like, tell me what I need to know, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Where Bella's like delivery is like very calm and very like unsettling. So I do prefer the game version of Ellie still because I like those choices, but I like Bella's choices still. So yeah, there's just some change up. I just don't know why she had to tell us again that
Yeah.
what Joel did. It's like we all know. I'm just very confused by this whole thing with the Abby and the origin. I don't know. I just don't know why they keep reinforcing it, but maybe
Yeah,
they'll
fair.
explain more at the end of the season. So
Yeah, I mean, for what you detailed, it definitely sounds like a better version of it there. I mean, I can just kind of judge it for what I got here. So I am glad I kind of see the lesser version of it. I am going to be intrigued, even by like next season, if I'm looking back on this, how they told the like kind of the Abby reveal thing, how they did it so early. Because, I went through this for the first time, this show version, and this is my first time judging it as it is, but I think this would have been so much more gripping of a scene, to get some reveals through us beating the shit out of Nora's knee here, as opposed to I already know the answers and I'm just seeing an angry Ellie beat the absolute living hell out of this lady that's dying. And I'm just, yeah, I'm interested in seeing other situations of this because I know Ellie's going to be finding other members, that were there torturing Joel. Like, is it going to be this reoccurring thing? Kind of what you've already.
he deserved it, man.
Yeah.
It was Joel.
It was Abby's father who was trying to find the cure. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which I will. That's what I don't understand. I will say, hopefully not, because I will say that they've skipped a lot of stuff, but that's because of gameplay and whatnot, right? Like you can't just always do like Ellie in the bushes, Ellie in a warehouse, whatnot. But I'd say like this is around the time you do get revealed that okay, Abby's motivation. So like I don't hope that many characters will do that in season 3 of like explaining what's going on. We'll get that sense, but again, Nora never needed to. We understand like. I guess maybe it's just for the fucking illiterate who did not understand like Abby by all these dead bodies. Like I just feel like if you watch the show, because the game doesn't start that way. If you watch the show, let's say you binge it, season 1 ends with the hospital, and then season 2 picks up with a bunch of people by Firefly graves. I feel like most people that like even that maybe failed high school can put 2 and 2 together. Like, oh, these are probably the people that Joel killed, huh? And then later on, they still do a flashback where it's like, oh, if you didn't understand Abby, and then there's I wonder if there's some fucking exec somewhere where like, well, that flashback was maybe a little
fuzzy.
yeah, like I don't know if people really got it. So can you have Nora literally explain Abby's motivations? It's like I don't know.
You just got the creator of the game just fucking.
Oh,
Why did I
yeah.
agree to this?
Yeah, and then they slide him a check. He's like, "That's fine. Yeah, Nora should tell. Nora should say that."
We'll do
motivations."
two more instances.
Yeah. Superman Mike, who's also a big fan of the game's play, says, "Yeah, it does feel like the show's approaching the audience with kid gloves compared to the game. It feels like they are afraid that some people react to the game and softening things, which I just don't." Like, is softening the thing really? And I can never know, right? Because the Abby hate, it's this weird mixture. It's like the Last Jedi thing where it's like, I know there's people that actually dislike the movie, but then there's a bunch of people that like, they made Star Wars woke, and that's the thing where it's like, for me, majority of the hate I thought was because like, Abby's this big, powerful, buff male, and they give her a bunch of scenes that like, Shore is a dominant female. It's like, I don't know. In my like fucking a couple of years ago, Ronda Rousey, very physical fit woman, I think just herself could take down Joel Miller. So then in the video game, when they like get Abby, who's like her whole, what happens is her dad gets killed and she's like, I'm gonna become a machine, so when I find this guy I could overpower him. I could still believe Pedro Pascal could like lose to a Ronda Rousey or some fucking Rhea Ripley in the WWE, like some big like chick that's been training. So that's why I just don't know if that's the case of like, maybe that like I'm trying to say like if they're looking at not the idiot people of like, oh, people really didn't like Abby killing Joel, so instead of making her like understanding her, we're just gonna go with what people went with and just make her a villain. For me, that's just a much less interesting situation because like, okay, you got a bad guy that's like that is still like justified in what she did, but you're not getting the nuance of actually feeling for that character. It's just like a Thanos where it's like, oh, I get Thanos' point of view, but we still gotta fucking take him down. To me, after playing the game, that shouldn't be Abby. Abby shouldn't be like, oh, I get her point of view, but we need to take her down. It's supposed to be kind of a tragic thing where, like I said, and you can't do it now, but you like hate this character for like 25 hours and then something happens, like, oh fuck, I misread this whole thing, and you do put yourself in that situation because not only it's like, it's not just her dad, dozens of people, and it's a person that could make a cure. It's like a trifecta of, man, Joel really did fuck us up. Like, again, that's a whole debate of should have Ellie died, whatever, but that's a big fucking no to do all that stuff. But again, I just feel like, and I don't know, it's weird because I agree with you, Mike, with the kids' gloves. It's like, I would understand if this was somewhere else, but it's like, it's fucking HBO. Like, HBO is they're the least kid gloves place. So again, I'm hoping that at the end of the season they might talk about some of these changes, or they might not, just to be like, we don't even want to justify it. But it just caught me off guard again, to reiterate the last time of her explaining it. And again, I'm curious to see what happens, because I don't think we're seeing Abby much of the season. We got the flashback next week, which I don't think she's just gonna pop up and be like, there's the handsome Joel. Like, that's not gonna happen. And then even I know we'll see her in the finale of season 2, but who knows how much? Could be a full episode, could be half, could be just like a little bit. Maybe she's like a cliffhanger. I don't know, but I don't think we're if you ask me, I think Abby could be in the finale. 5% is like being generous, in my opinion, unless there's something I don't know where it's like an Abby centric episode, right? But
Yeah, no, I think she'll pop up in the finale, but she won't be like a lot of extended screen time throughout. I think we're saving that for next season.
I think so, yeah. We'll take our last ad break, and then we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Anything from this last portion with Nora or anything like that you want to? I wanted to ask you a question. In the apocalypse, when the dog was popping off, would you not just release the dog?
Yeah, I was really curious as to what was going on there, and I found it so hilarious that they like get to this hole where like clearly a a scar could have crawled in there, a enemy of the wolves, a fucking infected could go in this hole, and then he jots it down to it being like a fucking raccoon. Like, are you kidding me? He's like, no, all clear over here.
He didn't see it with his own eyes.
As his dog's like, hey owner, there's a fucking enemy in here. Like, it just seems so dumb. Like, such a dumb NPC move.
And don't get me wrong, Bella Ramsey's a very tiny person, right? But that hole that they went down, it didn't seem like, only a very tiny person could go. Like, it seemed like we could still get through that. We tested that in a movie where Kirk went through some windows. I was like, that felt very, and I'm not sure if that happens in the video game. I can't remember it, but I was like, because like, okay, maybe you don't release the dog because you don't want to get bitten. You've lost a dog, but I still thought it was like, whoever is that security detail, fire. He took way too long. Like, whoa, buddy, calm down. Whoa, it's like, no, like, follow the dog. Like, maybe don't release it off leash then, but like, put some pep in your step. Like, he was moving so fucking slow. I guess you don't want a clicker to jump out and bite you. So I guess that's the point. But I agree with you when you get to the hole. Just like, anybody could get through this fucking thing. And you're like, whatever. It's like a cop that doesn't want to do paperwork. Like, I'm not radioing this in. Fuck it.
Yeah. I also just found it really eye-rolly how easily she got into like the hospital. I mean, like that scene adding to the whole thing. But she got in there, and then luckily enough, she just came across Nora, and then we kind of already highlighted everything that happened there. And
we got Dina talking about what she did, kind of some origins, which I liked as far as why she'd be following Ellie through. It was like, hey, my family was killed. Luckily, I was there, killed the guy, but I can only imagine if I had to see them tortured. So I'm with you. If you want to go, with you. If you don't want to go, Ellie did have a moment, which again, in the game, Dina just stays back because she's not feeling good. Ellie, which I appreciate, had a moment where she's like, I should send you back. You know, like, this is the wrong thing to be doing because Dina's already getting tired. But liked all those scenes. Good chemistry here still. And I really got no notes other than I like it all. And Isabel Merced continues to be great. And I wonder if that's why they put her there, because I wonder if, because this Arrow, whether it's not even next week, but next season, if she's going to like not be a part of some stuff and kind of get secluded, whether it's the theater or they go back to the town with her, wherever. Because again, I don't know what they'll do with the game and versus the show. But I feel like now with this, it's like, okay, maybe this is we'll get some more content in the finale, but we probably might not get too much more Ellie Dina content for a little bit of a shot of the Arrow, and like she's pierced Arrow and pregnant. Probably not the best to be going up against wolves, scars, and stalkers, but I liked all the stuff here and the map planning and the guitar scene, all good stuff. So
yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I liked all their just chemistry scenes. This poor, what was their last name? Leon Park, the one that was just a spore maker. Is that like
Oh,
something you come
yeah.
across in the game? It seemed like they had a lot of like
Yes.
emphasis on this lady.
And that sequence is like longer, or with the like the lady in the wall, you mean, or the lady
Well,
at the
both of
beginning?
them. So it's like her son, like at the start of the episode, right? She's doing
Okay,
an interview with the
that's
other
all
lady.
new.
Okay.
Yeah, not even explaining the game because like they set this up. That's why they talked about this last year. Spores were in the first game, where in the first season they weren't. So they had, I think that like great scene. I liked it as far as this like, explanation of having to leave people. It's in the air, but I feel like they just did that because like, well, we didn't do it in season one. We got to explain to people that it's randomly here now. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's always been a thing in Last of Us. So the spores are I guess now in the game, and I think obviously I think we talked about this in season one. You just don't want your actors always to have a fucking gas mask on, right?
Yeah.
Like as much as people complain, it's like you're paying these people lots of money. Like, did you want like half the season Pedro's face to be fucking covered up? It's like no, like he's a good looking man. Like have his face off here. But so yeah, that was new in the game. That whole explanation of that story or to the show.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good setup to explain. Like the basement is bad, and then so by the time Nora falls down there, it's like holy fuck, she's in
B2.
B2.
Yeah, that was good.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
And then you got Ellie just shooting her handgun at her. Like, well, I guess I'm just going to the spores. Like, what else are you gonna do? I probably
Ellie
in
ta-
hindsight
oh, go
should have taken the bullet because it would have been a
Yes.
much quicker death.
Yeah, or just when she whatever she threw at her, I don't know because in the game she just throws like a surgical pan. She threw like I don't know if it
Well,
was
she was like pouring water in the dirty bandages, so she like just threw the bloody water at her. But it
Oh,
seemed
was
like
it-
it stung her. or
well. That's what I
something.
was wondering.
It
Is it like a disinfectant though? Maybe like
must have been.
that must have been it. But like you would have had a better chance just do that and then like double hooker, you know, like
Attack
what
her,
Ellie did
yeah.
last week to the big guy, you know. But no, I thought that was good. The fall down look at B2, and that was like, oh man, you're completely screwed. And I also forgot to because Ellie got down there for a second. I'm like, why didn't she have? I'm like, oh right, she can't die here, which is just
Yeah.
you know, perfect situation. Let's see, they blocked the hospital basement for another reason in the game. I wonder if they'll still do that. Yeah, I've wondered that for a while. It's definitely would be a bigger budgeted situation if I'm remembering. Mike, just say yes or no if like that set piece would be a bigger budget. I could be wrong, but it's something that I could also see reworked to a different time or season. But oh, that's what I was gonna say. I can't remember if this is another thing in the game too, because you're controlling the character in this show. Ellie, awful shot. She shot 4 times, and like Nora wasn't that far away. Terrible, terrible shot. You know. So
I will say, maybe I'm just bad, but because I'm playing Last of Us 1 right now, just because I'm vibing. I am so fucking bad. I always missing shots, and then the clicker
you
just
go.
gets me, and then fucks me up. And then I have like 3 bullets because it's so hard to find ammo in that
Yes.
game. But
yeah.
no, I'm playing like the Part 1 remaster. Oh, it is. The lighting in that
Oh.
game is gorgeous. It
So you
is
finished Death
fantastic.
Stranding, eh? That's why you've been
Not
playing
yet.
Last
Yeah.
of Us part. Yeah, I saw because I think someone else was playing this. I should have sent it to you, but I saw not that you're doing this, but a clip where someone's playing on permadeath, but they lost because they were like walking down a hill and it like killed Ellie, so they had to start over. It's like fuck, that would suck.
Oh, never would I play a game on a permadeath mode anymore.
No,
Maybe
I
like in my history, you know, if I was
Yes.
back in the day, but nowadays, hell no, I don't got time for that shit.
And maybe like this is something where I can definitely say like love video games, but I'm not like top tier gamer, so I don't know if there's many that could have done that. I think for me, the only games that could have done that, and I don't think there was a situation, but it's like any of the Arkham games, like because especially there was one time like Arkham City. I felt like God tier Bruce Wayne. Like I was playing hardest difficulty and I was just cruising through that, like not cruising, but still like I'm fucking Batman. Like you're at the end when Hugo Strange is sending all his guys and I'm just gadgets everywhere. Like that's the game where I'm like, you know what? I think the Arkham games I could have done a permadeath, but other games is like no, that's I would not. I applaud people that do that. You're godly gamers, but let's see. Superman Mike says it would be more doable than the Jackson battle. I guess it's just that it's like, I think there's just more like, no, I guess you're right because there's lots of clickers and there's this big CGI clicker there. So you're right. So I wonder, yeah, I don't think it's going to be coming this season, at least if that's the situation. So we'll see.
Speaking in riddles has me intrigued.
Yeah. I have no other notes because there isn't much that happened in the beginning. Just kind of some, you know.
Yeah, no, I got nothing else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. We've done it, ladies and gentlemen. We've talked about Last of Us, Episode 5, Season 2. We'll be back next week, see what's going on with, Pedro's back. It's always a good thing, see what's going on there.
Hey, kiddo.
Yeah, hey kiddo. Probably some with Eugene, and who knows? And maybe the entire episode won't be a flashback. Maybe you'll get like 10 to 50 minutes at the end that's in current day. I don't know, or maybe it is. Who knows? Because I think it's like I feel like it kind of tied into at the same time when Ellie's doing these very terrible acts. It's almost like they tied it with like she's, and that's where I worry. Like with Mike products, like does Ellie need to think of like a good memory to get her through this, or why she's doing this? But again, to me, Ellie in the game is just a fucking beast. It's like, nah, I'm gonna torture you, and I feel Bella was still doing that. We've talked about in last season and the show where they've emphasized that Ellie has like a a lust for violence sometimes. So I don't know if that was literally just an editing way just to get Joel in there. But at that point, though, when Mike, you said like they pay him per episode, that would have been worth paying him for this episode. Being there for fucking like 10 seconds, I'd be like, oh, cut that shit out. We're not paying him that. Or just like, because couldn't you just open up next week and it's a flashback? You would need to have this transition, right? So that's why I'm worrying. Are they doing it for character reasons to be like, well, she's really telling herself why she has to do this? It's like, no, Ellie doesn't give a fuck. She knows why she's doing this. She's gonna fucking cave in someone's head if she has to. But we will see, and we'll be back next week, and it will not be